Hi all, welcome back to part 11 of this Selenium Hybrid Framework series. In previous video, we saw how to generate extent report and we generated a comprehensive extent report at the end of our execution. Now, in this part, we are going to see how to test a feature using multiple set of test data. Often it is part of our requirement for an application or for a certain feature, and so it is very important part of our testing process. So here also I am going to take our login feature, wherein they have already given us different usernames and the password is going to be the same. So let us quickly check the behavior with these different users. And so with this logged out user, it is giving me error. With the help of problem user, it is logging in, but it is not displaying these images. However, we will not consider this. We will only see whether products label is displayed or not. And then for performance user also, it is going to be it is taking some time to log in, but ultimately it will log in, and again we will be looking at whether the products label is available or not. So all this data we will be storing in an Excel, and we have named that Excel as app test data. In column 1 we have username, and in column 2 we have password, and this data we have stored in a test data folder under our projects folder. So I created that folder, and we have this app test data there. So let me just quickly close this for time being, and in our actual code also I will need to make some changes. In previous video I added few test cases just to show how extent report will show those test cases status, and then we also made the first test case to fail. Let me change the name also by changing the locator property value. So locator property value, so here label 1 to label. Now our test case will pass, and now I will start my coding. So in our shopping utilities package we already have this read config.java. I will create another class, and I will name this class this time as Excel data. Okay, and okay, I will be using this XSSF workbook. So this XSSF workbook allows me to work on XLSX files, and similarly XSSF sheet, and I will WS. So let me quickly import those, and I will write now the constructor public Excel data, which takes Excel file name along with path as an argument. So string file name, and okay, so now I will write as usual file src is equal to new file, and it will take this file name argument, and let me import file, and then I will write file input stream FIS is equal to new file input stream, okay, which will take src as an argument, and then let me import that as well, and then I will use this WB is equal to new which will take FIS as argument, and now it is asking me for try catch log. So I will take this file input stream also inside our try catch, and here I will write it, and this WB also I will take inside our try catch, and instead of file input stream I will write exception E, and I will write here as sysout, and it will be error, and E dot get message. So this is it for the constructor part. And now see what will happen here. We are going to write two methods, wherein one method will be returning the number of rows of the Excel, and the other method for returning the content of a cell based on the row and column provided. So public int get row count is my method, which takes sheet number as argument, right? And so here we are writing int row count. So this will be returned is equal to wb dot get sheet at, and this sheet number will be the argument, right? And dot get last row number, right? Now see, this is going to return the index value. So index value starts from 0. That means if there are 10 rows, this is going to return us 9, because the first row will be considered as 0. And so to get actual row count, I will need to increment this row count by 1 is equal to plus 1, and then I will return this row count. So this is my one method. My another method will be to return the cell data. So public string get data, and this will take 3 arguments. First argument will be the sheet number, other argument will be row, and third argument will be column. Now based on this, it will return me the data. Okay, so we have this WS that we have declared, right? So WS is equal to WB dot get sheet at, and again it will take the sheet number, right? And then we have this string data to return, right? Is equal to WS dot get row. So at this particular row and at this dot get cell, and at this particular column I want get string cell value. So this will return me the value in that particular cell, and I will return that, return data. So this method is complete now, right? So what is this? INT, sorry. Okay, so this is done now, and now I will move to my login test. So what we have done here, we have created one class in which we have written the methods to get row count and the cell data. And now here in my test case, I will write one method which will be of type object. See, because when I'm getting the value from an Excel, say for this login feature, it could be only string, it could be integer, or it could be a mixed type also, and therefore instead of declaring as a type string or integer, we are declaring as type object, right? And get login data is my name, and so here I will need this Excel data, right? So this Excel data I am going to use and create object of that. Excel is equal to new Excel data, and I will be providing the path of our Excel, which is this test data dot slash test data slash we have this app test data dot xlsx, right? Okay, so now let me import this Excel data, and now I want number of rows, right? So integer rows is equal to Excel dot get row count, and sheet and sheet number is 0. Now as we have seen, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3 are the sheets that were present in our Excel, wherein sheet 1 has an index of 0, and we have kept our data there, and therefore we will be using 0 here. Okay, and now at the same time I will require to return the data, right, as part of this data provider or part of this parameterization. We have declared this method as object, so I will use this object, and data is equal to new object, and so this is going to be a two-dimensional array of size rows and 2 columns, because we have username as column 1 and password as column 2, so 2 columns, right? And then I will get the data. So for that I will use the for loop for int I is equal to 0, I less than rows, and I plus plus. And now I will store my data. So this is going to be I, and 0 is equal to, see now Excel dot, we have written the method get data, and our sheet number we know it is 0, and row number is going to be I, and column is going to be 0. So username, so basically at this point 0th row and first column, right? So that means username we are storing. And then let me quickly copy this, and so this time here it will be 1, and here also there will be 1, and that's it. I will return this data. Fine, so there is no error. And now here I will require one annotation for this method, that is data provider, and name is equal to login data. So this proper name, appropriate name that I am giving here, right? And now what I will do is, for my test, in front of test annotation I will use into bracket, data provider is equal to, and I will give this name login data. Okay, now this login data here, okay, and so this login data, basically this data provider is giving us username and password, right? So here I will require 2 arguments, string user and string password, and so same I will require in my as my arguments for my method. right? So user and pass, right? So this is done. I am done with my coding part. Here now in base class also I am going to make one change, and I'm going to use implicitly wait here. So driver dot manage dot timeout dot implicitly wait, and duration dot it's of second I will be using, and I will be giving 20 seconds. So and let me execute my test case. So I'm going here. I have deleted extra report screenshots. Okay, now let me execute my test case. Let me close this, and I will run as TestNG suite. And it will launch my browser. So the Chrome is launched, and it will use first set of credentials as logged out user. As we know, it is failed. Then it will wait for 20 seconds to verify whether it gets products label or not. Okay, so if it doesn't, it will move to second iteration. And interestingly, now here if you observe, it has appended the second credential in front of the first credential. And if we think on why this is happening is, see, for base class we have written the before class annotation. So before class executing the class only, it is basically launching this application, right? And so while the iteration goes on, it doesn't clear the text boxes, but it appends the new value in front of the old value, and that is the reason why it is behaving in this manner. So how to overcome this is to clear the text boxes before entering the value, which now we will see. So it will stop the execution, so let us wait for that. Okay, as expected, everything is failed. So what I will need to do, let us go to our login page, and in login page, before this particular method, right, I will need to clear the text box. So dot clear I will use. Same thing I will do for password also. So I will clear it, dot clear. Okay, and now let me execute my test case. Let me first of all delete my screenshots and also the report, and let me execute this. So run as TestNG test, and we will see now how it behaves. So again it will try to enter username password. So first set of credential is done. As expected, it is failed. It will wait for 20 seconds to verify products label. And after that it will use the second set. So here you can see now it cleared and it has moved on to the home page, and now it will verify the products label. And again here there is going to be the catch. So see, again, since we are using base class, it is launching the browser for the very first time, and then all our iterations are getting executed. Now when a successful login happens, for next iteration it is not getting the username and password text boxes, and therefore all our next iterations will fail because of that, right? So for that, what we will need to do, so let us get back to our application and observe what is the issue. Here we have seen that there was one success and then others were failed because it did not find the text boxes to enter username password. So let me go back to my application and let us observe what we can do. So say I am using this and I am on home page, right? And to get back to my username and password page or login page, I will need to click here and I will need to click here log out to get back here, right? So after our successful login, I will need to get back to login page, and that is the reason why our test case was failing, right? So we will need to perform these operations after the login, and therefore let us first of all inspect these elements. So with this, if you see there is no proper locator, we have this open menu, right? And we have this button. So let us write a XPath, right? So button, and I will write text is equal to, and I will use this open menu. Okay, and if I see it is not matching, why it is not matching, let us quickly check. Sorry, it did not copy the value. Open menu, open menu, okay, and now you can see 1 of 1, so this is correct. So I will get this and move to my login page. So where is my login page? This is my login page, and I will write here by open menu is equal to by dot XPath, right? We have this XPath, and I will write this XPath here. Similarly, after using clicking on this, I will need to click on this logout. So if we try to identify this logout, so here also we have this anchor tag and we have this logout. I will use the same in my XPath, wherein I will give here as A and here value as logout. So there also we have 1 of 1. So let me copy this and get back here to write by logout is equal to by dot XPath, and I will write this XPath here. So this is done, and now what we will need to do is we will need to, after this assert, we will need to click on these elements, right? So WebDriver dot find element by, and so we have this open menu and dot click I will do, and next find element by, and we have this logout option dot click, right? So this is my method, right? So I have written this, and let me quickly close this and delete this also, and I will now execute my test case. So what will happen now, it will first clear, it will log in, it will verify whether products label is there or not, and then if it is there, it will click on logout, and then it will move to next iteration. So let us execute our test case. Let me close this and see how it works. Run as TestNG test. So it has launched the browser, and it has entered first set of credentials which are wrong, unsuccessful login. After 20 seconds it will move to next iteration. It will clear the text boxes and enter the credentials, and as expected, see, it has logged out and it has entered new credentials. Now here also it should perform the same. See, and our test case execution is complete, and it is showing as 3 pass and 1 test case as failed, right? So if we go and refresh our project, we will see these login failure as expected because of incorrect credentials, and in our extent report also it is showing us that there was a 1 test case fail and the rest of 3 test cases passed, right? And here also it is showing the detailed report. Coming back to our scenario, so see, this was only the part that I wanted to cover in this particular video to show how we can use different set of test data to test our feature. Now the question arises whether like that in our base class we are simply opening our application, right? And in our regular scenarios, our our login will be the prerequisite for any other feature testing. So unless and until we are logging in, we will not be able to proceed with any kind of testing, say on the home page. So now we have 2 things here. One is our login as a prerequisite, and the other is login functionality test. So for login functionality test, we have used this multiple set of test data, but if in case we require to use login as a prerequisite for other tests, how we will be handling that, and that is exactly what we will be looking at in our next video. So keep watching, and bye for now. Thank you.